There are a lot of talk shows. Why am I wearing my headphones? Just a quick disclaimer before we get started. There's been a lot going on with the move and everything, and we're still getting soundproofed here at the new place. But I've noticed that there is a lot of talk shows who now have to film from home for good reason right now. And while they are lacking with all of the technicalities of having a studio, one piece of advice I'd like to give these talk show hosts is Neon. We are bombarded with news every day. We are at sensory overload at this point. We are going through something with COVID-19 that is going to change our society as a whole. Will shaking hands be considered taboo? Will paying with cash be considered rude? Will I have to wait another 20 years until father will hug me? Despite COVID-19 shutting down nearly everything, I have to pay for my Starbucks with a trash grabber like an animal. The continuation of people to take advantage of a bad situation never ceases to amaze me. Just a few weeks ago, we learned about Richard Burr, who had information on how devastating this virus was going to be, and instead used that information to influence insider trading and leaving the rest of us to learn what a taboo is. Coming to a store near you. It's appalling, but not all that surprising. When you're in the headspace to always get ahead of others, it's kind of easy to forget other people exist, I guess. Sometimes your goal is to get as much information as possible from those people that do exist. Maybe even break down what little privacy we have left in this digital hexscape where going to the store to buy eggs can turn into giving over my email, my driver's license, my social security number. 1111. I feel like my privacy is about as strong as a bathroom stall. Simply put, we are looking at the Earn It Act, what it means for our freedom of speech, our privacy, and the our freedom of speech and the privacy that we assume to go along with that in our online society. The current iteration of the Earn It Act was constructed by Senator Lindsey Graham and Senator Josh Hawley and Senator Dianne Feinstein. The idea of the bill, proposed on March 5th, is to protect children from online abuse. Great! That's great. That's a good idea. We should do that, right? However, the method of enforcing that is a little different. They want to do this by holding the tech companies who host these websites responsible for allowing these postings from anonymous users.
That's safe speech for trying to stop human trafficking and child pornography online by finding websites it occurs on. I'm just gonna say all the bad stuff as ASMR, because then I think it'll do better in the algorithm. Maybe.
Oh no, will my thing stop? Part 2 of the video. I guess my camera stopped camera-ing. Oh, I found the clipboard. I knew it was somewhere. It's been hard. I've been moving things still. I'm still getting it all figured out. Part 2. Let's look at what this bill says it's actually going to do. After actually reading the document, there is no mention of how it is actually planning to mitigate the spread of this illegal content online. And that's what concerns me, because it is very clear on how it plans to fine the companies for allowing this content to occur on their sites, but not actually how they plan to stop it from happening in the first place. If this bill does go into effect in its current form, this could mean a massive overhaul for a lot of websites. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, but that last one's fine. I'm not actually sure how many more overhauls YouTube can handle before it's only allowed to post box openings and TikTok compilations. With the penalty being 10 years in prison to a website owner for allowing this illegal content to be on their website, how much do you think these websites are gonna stay the same as they are? If you thought the adpocalypse of YouTube was bad, these sites are going to have a way stricter code for conduct. They're going to have to sterilize them so clean, regular YouTube will just be YouTube for kids. Facebook will only be wedding photos. Tumblr Tumblr might have to get put down. It's not like these websites aren't already removing this illegal content. Currently, services like Microsoft, Apple, Gmail, and Google already scan files automatically. This lets them search for images of illicit nature much more easily. And when an image like this is found, it is required by federal law to report it to the NCMEC. As of last year, the current number of these reports to the NCMEC was over... And as of last year, the current volume of reports was 1 million per month submitted. So companies are already cracking down on this because it's in their best interest to do so. The key to what makes this method so effective is that the companies are doing it voluntarily. If the Earn It Act does go through, it will make these companies agents of the government, which will make their current method of searching for these images illegal, as it sort of goes against the Fourth Amendment. As a refresher, the Fourth Amendment is what protects people from unreasonable searches. It's what allows you to feel safe, that your home will not be raided without officials going through the proper channels. Overall, good law, Fourth Amendment, big fan. But if the Earn It Act goes into effect, these images that these companies find through their automatic searches can no longer be used in a court of law. They will no longer count as evidence because they will have been found without using a warrant to do so, and they can't really get a warrant to search every single person that uses their sites and services, which will drastically decrease the effectiveness that these companies have in finding this illegal content. Not only will the Earn It Act make it harder to catch people sharing this illegal content, not only does the bill give no real plan to combat these predatory actions, the bill does not give any restrictions to the federal government of what they are allowed to do in the name of stopping the spread of child abuse material. Currently, there's nothing saying that the government is planning to end encryptions, but there's also nothing in it saying that they won't end encryptions. Senator Graham beautifully states the following.
Facebook is talking about end-to-end encryption, which means they go blind. We're not going to go blind and let this abuse go forward in the name of any other freedom.
Encryption is very important in our ability to keep our privacy. In the 1990s, the US required American software companies to use deliberately weakened encryption algorithms in software for export, hoping to make it safe to cryptographic software and even to potential enemies, because then their traffic would always be crackable. This led to international customers purchasing non-US products instead, financially hurting US encryption vendors. Creating weak encryptions hurts everybody in the long run. While weakening encryptions does make it easier for the government to get into others' systems, it makes you that much more vulnerable as well. We've gone from where online payments were an option to now exchanging currency digitally is a lot of the time the only method, and that is something we really want to keep safe and encrypted. Like, I remember my parents would not let me shop online as a kid, and now I do not have a single bill that actually comes in the mail. I need to rely on that my phone, my email have a powerful encryption. Well, what about a back door? All those movies, people use back doors to get into the systems. Couldn't we put in like a back door? All those hacker movies, people put back doors in, and then they can use the back door to get back in whenever they need to, but the system's still secure because they use the back door. And to that I say, have you not seen War Games? Matthew Broderick nearly kills everyone because he just wants to play chess against a supercomputer. 80s wonderful filmography aside, any backdoor weakens an encryption, no matter who it's designed for. Companies like Apple steer clear of making backdoors because it would compromise the strength of their product. The truly disgusting part of all of this is the current version of the bill is less about preventing more victims or helping current victims of abuse, and more inclined to using the image of these victims as a large trench coat to cover up Lindsey Graham and all of his friends so they can sneak into a naughty movie and see a man and a woman get familiar. So scandalous! Except the scandal here is disgustingly using these victims to expedite their control of free speech because they don't like the memes, like Mitch McConnell as a sad turtle as his lettuce gets taken away. During this time of self-isolation, trying to protect one another from spreading COVID-19, it's hard to keep up with everything that's going on. But it's also just that much more important, as we saw with Richard Burr. We absolutely have to keep our elected officials in check. Jumping back to Richard Burr, it wasn't just him involved in keeping the effects of this virus secret for profit. There was also Kelly Loeffler. There was also Kelly Loeffler, a Republican senator from Georgia. Richard Burr also in 2012 voted against the law known as the Stop Trading on Congressional Knowledge Act, a law designed to combat insider trading, saying that it was ludicrous at the time. Ludicrous. It's an unfortunate reality we live in, but it's our reality. Don't let the Earn It Act go into effect. Don't let your elected officials think that they can get away with abusing their power. And call your folks. Unless they're